Right now, Shirou is currently in a position he would not expect himself to be in, which would be on the table in one of the recreation rooms, as a stuffed plushie of himself. I can't believe this happened. Shirou thought to himself as his mind began to recall the events that led up to his current condition a while ago. Alright, that should be it, Shirou thought to himself as he destroyed a machine. As he was done with the deed, he proceeded to head back to Ritsuka. Seriously, this could possibly be one of the weirdest singularities I have ever been through. A singularity where someone tried to take over the world by turning people into plushies and using them as an army? That sounds like a plot for a kid's movie. Soon, Shirou returned to where Ritsuka and Mashu were. Well, now that is over, we're returning to Chaldea, Ritsuka said. Yeah, let's dash, Shirou said before he sensed something. Watch out, master. Mashu. In an instant, Shirou pushed both Ritsuka and Mashu away when he was hit with a laser. Shirou SAN. Ritsuka and Mashu yelled in horror before turning to the source of the laser, which was a mage. The mage himself looked exhausted, showing that he used up all of his mana for that blast. In an instant, Mashu immediately headed towards the mage and bashed him with her shield, knocking him out. Quickly, Mashu went back to where Shirou was hit with the laser. Shirou-san, are you alright? No answer came. Shirou, Ritsuka asked, wondering if the worst had happened. However, to their shock, in front of them was Shirou, who had been turned into a plushie of himself. For a moment, Ritsuka and Mashu looked at each other before turning back towards Shirou. Well, Da Vinci is going to be surprised when she sees this, Ritsuka said. Definitely, Mashu replied in agreement. Back to the present. I swear, being turned into a plushie of myself is just, well, not what I expected. To be honest, I am not surprised that something like this could happen. Well, I'll just go to Ritsuka to see if he asked Da Vinci for a cure, he thought to himself as he began to get up. However, it was then Shirou realized something really important. He cannot move. He tried to raise his arms, but was not able to. He tried to get up, but failed to do so. I can't move. This is a huge problem here. If I can't move, I won't be able to tell the others what happened. In fact, I can't even say anything to begin with. Plushies cannot talk. Oh, this is the worst. I could really use some help now. Where is Shirou? It is almost lunchtime. A certain voice asked. Upon hearing the certain voice, Shirou mentally let out a sigh of relief. Great. Arturia is here. She should be able to help me. It was then Arturia noticed the Shirou plushie in the room. Is that? She said as she got closer to the plushie. Yes, Arturia. I am right here. Shirou thought happily as he thought he was going to get his problem solved. Or as he thought. Because when Arturia appeared in front of him, she had a look on her face that made Shirou scared while her arms looked like she was about to grab someone. Arturia? In an instant, Arturia quickly grabbed the plushie. Arturia's face then turned into one filled with happiness as she lifted the plushie and began to twirl around. Ah, what a lovely stuffed plushie of Shirou. Whoever made this plushie has every detail correct. Ah, I never want to let go of this plushie. She thought to herself before burying her face into the plushie. Wawa, Shirou mentally yelled. As Arturia continued to snuggle with the plushie, it was then she heard her voice from her counterpart. I think you had enough fun with that Shirou plushie. Hand it over, Arturia Alter said. No, this is mine, Arturia replied. And you are me. Give me the plushie now. Arturia then put the plushie down. If you want it, then you will have to take it. But you already knew that, she said as she pulled out Excalibur. I knew things were going to be that way, Arturia Alter said as she brought out Excalibur Morgan. How many times have we fought? I don't know. To be honest, I lost count so many times that it is pretty much a natural thing for us to fight over something. Arturia let out a smirk. Let's settle this outside, shall we? Agreed. And the two left the room. Oh, I have a bad feeling about this, Shirou mentally thought. And Shirou's intuition was correct as in an instant, a large explosion was heard in the distance, making him let out a mental sigh. Well, at least this could not get any worse. I guess I will wait until Master comes back with a cure. Little did Shirou know that his troubles were about to continue. Ishtar was not in a good mood today. Why? Simple. Astria made her mad. Right now, Ishtar was grumbling as she was walking down one of Chaldea's hallways. Damn that blonde twin drilled hair goddess. I swear no matter what I do, she always finds some way to piss me off, no matter how trivial it is. One of these days, she needs to be taught a lesson. She thought to herself angrily. As she was floating angrily, it was then she noticed something that made her forget her frustration and piqued her interest, which was Shirou, who had been turned into a plushie. HM? That's Tasaka, and she seems to be in a bad mood. Shirou thought, that plushie, it looks like Shirou. Who put it here? She thought to herself. As she inspected it, her interest in the plushie grew even further. Wow, this plushie definitely looks like Emiya-kun. Every detail is perfect. Heck, even the hairstyle is the same as well. I wonder though, how soft is this plushie? Ishtar then squished the plushie and brought it towards her face. As she did, her face brightened over how soft the plushie is. Wow, The plushie is soft as well. I can't believe I am saying this, but this plushie is perfect for a goddess like me. I think I want to keep this. Shirou mentally sighed. Well, at least Tasaka is happy, although I did not expect this side of her. As Ishtar was hugging the plushie, it was then her counterparts arrived where she was. Ishtar, what are you doing? Ereshkigal asked. Hey, she yelled in surprise. Ah, well, you see, I found this, she said as she showed both her rider counterpart and Ereshkigal the Shirou Plushie. Both rider Ishtar and Ereshikal's eyes widened upon seeing the Shirou Plushie up close. Eh? A plushie of Emiya Shirou. There was one lying around here. Rider Ishtar asked. Apparently so. And whoever made this plushie must be really good. It has every single detail of Emiya Shirou. It was then Rider Ishtar grabbed the plushie out of her counterpart's hands and took a look at it herself, and saw that her archer counterpart was correct. Wow, you are not kidding. It really does look like it. I know, right? Not only that, but he is so soft too. Or really? Let me try it out next. Ereshkigal muttered. Hold on. Let me see first. Rider Ishtar said as she put the plushie on her face, feeling how soft it is. As she did, her facial expression brightened. You are right. He really is soft. I can cuddle with this forever. Hey, let me try out too. Ereshkigal said as she grabbed the plushie and started to feel it as well. Wow, he is so soft. And cute too. I want to keep it forever. Ishtar and her rider counterpart then looked at Ereshkigal with angry glares. No. Ereshkigal was surprised at her counterpart's outburst. Shirou thought. It's mine, they yelled in unison. In an instant, the goddesses began to fight over the plushie as the Ishtars tackled Ereshkigal to the ground. As they did, they then began to punch and kick each other, creating a comedic dust storm as they yelled at each other. However, as they were brawling, they did not notice that the plushie was out of the room, and someone else found it. And they found out in the most annoying way possible. Oh ho 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 ho. How unsightly of you, Ishtar. And to think you three were fighting over this plushie of Shirou. At that moment, the three goddesses stopped fighting to see Astrea, who was holding the plushie in her hands. Hey, hands off that plushie, Astrea. Ishtar yelled. No, the likes of you do not deserve this plushie of Shirou. Only I am worthy of possessing such a treasure, she said as she smothered the plushie right between her breasts, which angered the goddesses immediately. For a moment, the three goddesses looked at each other and came up with the same idea. Truce. Truce. Oh, I've got a bad feeling about this, Shirou thought. And at that exact moment, they immediately attacked Astrea, who was busy hugging the plushie. Caught off guard, Astrea dropped the plushie as she was engaged in a brawl against the three goddesses. As the plushie was forgotten by the goddesses' brawl, another goddess picked it up. "Oh, this plushie looks like Senpai," Parvati said as she inspected it. As she did, she also noticed the four goddesses fighting against each other, making her sigh. Really? They're at it again? I swear, Mason keeps getting into fights with her. She thought to herself before focusing her attention on the plushie. Still though, if they were fighting over this plushie of Senpai, I could understand. But was it worth it? However, when she hugged it, her question was immediately answered. Okay, this plushie is definitely worth it. It is so soft and warm. It is almost like I am holding Senpai in my arms. In this warmth, it reminds me of Fuyuki back in Senpai's house. Wow, I never thought I would be in this position, Shirou thought. Immediately, she ran for her room and went onto her bed. As she did, she began to hug the plushie while lying on her bed, feeling the warmth of the plushie. Ah, this plushie feels so good. After a while, she stopped hugging it and went out of her room for a moment. As she did not notice that she was being watched by someone. Kama, Parvati. She seemed happy, too happy I might even say. Normally this would not bother me, but for some reason, that smile really annoys me, and I can't stand it. I'm going to find out what made her happy like this. Soon, Kama went into her room and began to investigate what made her have that smile of hers. As she was looking around the room, it was then she saw it. HM? That plushie. I have never seen it before. Seems new, although when did she get that? Kama soon went up to the plushie and inspected it. This plushie, it does look cute, but why do I think of it that way? I mean, I am the goddess of love. There should be nothing that phases me, no matter how cute it looks. However, the moment she hugged it, her thinking completely changed. W, what is this warmth? T, this plushie is so warm. And yet, I am not disgusted by this. This is nothing like Shiva's flames. It pains me to say this, but I cannot resist this. I need it. In an instant, Kama grabbed the plushie and immediately bolted out of the room. As she did, it was then she bumped into someone who happened to have the same face as her. Oh, it seems you were in a hurry, Kama. Kama let out a sigh. What do you want, BB? Oh, nothing. But that plushie you are holding seems interesting, she said as she raised her hand. Give it to me. Kama glared at BB. Why should I? Get your own. Really now? You shouldn't be saying that considering you took that out of someone's room. Does it matter? Anyways, I am in a hurry now. leave, Kama said as she began to walk past BB. However, before she could do so, BB grabbed her by the arm. I don't think so. Give me that plushie. Never. BB smirked. Well then, guess I'll take it by force. In an instant, Kama and BB engaged in a fight like the one Ishtar, her counterparts, and Astria are currently having. As they were fighting, they did not notice that there were spectators watching the entire thing. Wow, BB seems to be having the fight of her life. Passion Lips said, and to think it is all because of that plushie. How ridiculous, Melt Lilith said. Should we help her? King Protea asked. Nah. More importantly, that plushie those two forgot in the fight, seeing that BB was interested in it. I wonder what would happen if we took it from her. Both Passion Lip and King Protea looked at Melt Lilith. Is that a good idea? Melt Lilith let out a smirk. Yes. Now if you will excuse me, she said as she began to sneak towards where the plushie was. Yes, I am getting closer to it, almost there. However, before she could get her hands on it, a hand suddenly grabbed her. What the dash? Like I would allow that, BB's voice said. And in an instant, Melt Lilith was dragged into the fight, which eventually moved towards a different direction because of the three's punching, kicking, and moving. Well, that was a bad idea, King Proteus said. Indeed. Should we follow them? Passion Lip replied. Yes. Not again. Shirou thought, and the two began to follow them. Saito and I let out a yawn. Man, I am really tired today, she said to herself as she was on top of her bear. Shirou. How about you, Shirou? Shirou just growled. I see. It was then she noticed something on the ground, which caught her attention. Shirou, go over there, she said as she pointed in the direction of said object. Following his master's orders, Shirou went towards where Saitonai was pointing. As they reached the object, Saitonai went down from the bear and looked at the object, which was the Shirou plushie that was forgotten earlier due to the fight between Kama, BB, and Melt Lilith along with Passion Lip and King Protea following them. Upon looking at the Shirou plushie, Saitonai was in awe over it. Ah, a plushie of Oni-chan. It's so adorable. I always knew Oni-chan would look good as a plushie. She then turned to Shirou. Shirou, meet plushie Shirou. The bear just stared at the plushie and let out a small growl that sounded like a grunt. Meanwhile, Shirou shivered at Saitonai's words. Saitone giggled a bit after seeing the bear's reaction to the plushie. Ah, looks like someone is jealous, she said as she got on the bear. Come on, Shirou. We would not want to keep the others waiting. Saitonai then pointed towards another direction. Now then, let's go. The bear grumbled before heading towards where Saitona was pointing again, but this time towards a room. Hey Emiya, Kuro, Miyu. The three girls heard Steinai's voice and turned around to see her with a smile on their faces. Hey, there's Saitonai. Saitonai then got off her bear. Hey, you won't believe what I found. What? Kuro asked. This. Saitonai replied as she brought out the Shirou Plushie. As she did, the three girls had their eyes widened upon seeing it for the first time. That is. Saitonai let out a smug grin. Yes, this is a plushie of Oniai-chan. After hearing Saitonai's words, Emiya was the first to look at the Shirou plushie and gave it a hug. Wow, this plushie of Oniai-chan is so soft and warm. It even looks like him. I know, right? Saitonai said. Hey Emiya, let me have it. Kuro said as she swiftly took it away from Emiya. As she did, she then hugged it like how Emiya did before. You are right. It is so soft and warm. I want to keep it forever, she said in happiness. Kuro, let me hold it, Miyu said. No. I'm going to keep it forever and ever and out. It was then that Kuro was bonked on the head by Saitonai. Kuro, share. Kuro let out a sigh. Fine. Here, she said as she handed the plushie to Miyu. Miyu then hugged the plushie with a smile on her face. Wow. A plushie of Oniai-chan. I want to hold it forever. Wow, being carried around by my little sisters. That's new, Shirou thought. After a few minutes, Miyu was still holding the plushie, and everyone else was a bit concerned. Oh, Miyu, are you going to let go? No, she replied with a pout on her face. Please, no. Saitonai, Emiya, and Kuro let out a sigh. This is going to take a while. Musashi was walking down one of Chaldea's hallways, minding her own business as she was humming a tune. Now then, I wonder what will happen at Chaldea today. Maybe I could get some Adon. As she continued to walk down the hallway, it was then she noticed something, which was the Shirou plushie that was sitting on top of a table. Musashi's face brightened upon seeing the plushie. She then went to the table to inspect the plushie and was immediately smitten over it. Oh my god, this plushie of Shirou-kun is so adorable. I wonder how it got here. After a few seconds of pondering, Musashi got nothing. Well, I got nothing. Anyways, she thought as she began to hug the plushie. As she did, she felt a surge of warmth going through her body. Wow, not only does it look like him, it is also soft and warm as well. This may sound disgraceful to me, but I want to keep this forever. Not you too, Musashi. You like this plushie form as well? Shirou thought. As Musashi continued to hug the plushie, it was then she was caught by two people. Hey, what are you doing, Musashi? Upon hearing the voice, Musashi turned around to see Okita and her alter together while trying to hide the plushie. Ah, Okita. Okita alter. What are you doing here? Both Okita and Okita alter went up to Musashi. Isn't it obvious? It's time for our usual practice. We were wondering where you were, so we tried to find you. Okita said. Hey, sorry, Musashi said sheepishly. Okita let out a small sigh before noticing that Musashi was hiding something. Hey, Musashi, what's that behind you? Hey? Well, it's this, Musashi said as she reluctantly revealed the Shirou Plushie she had been hiding earlier. Eh? A plushie of Shirou-san? Okita said in surprise. A plushie of Shirou. Okita alter said, Why yeah, I found this earlier, and, well, it was so cute to look at that I couldn't help but hug it, Musashi said embarrassingly with a blush on her face. It was so soft and warm. Okita was shocked at Musashi's words. Really? You were late for practice for a plushie? Why yes. Okita sighed again. Really now, you dash. I want to hold the plushie. Can I have it? Okita alter interrupted. What Ash? Sure. Here you go. Musashi said as she handed the plushie to Okita alter. Okita alter then hugged the plushie. As she did, she felt a sense of warmth flowing through her body. This plushie is so warm. It is like holding a pillow on the bed. Ah, I don't want to let go of this plushie. Okita sighed for a third time. Really now. First Musashi, and now you. Okita alter then turned to her counterpart. Do you want to hold it? Eh? Try holding it. It feels good, Okita alter said. Yeah, try it out, Okita. Musashi said in agreement. Sighing in defeat, Okita then took the plushie from her altered counterpart and hugged it. And like the others before her, she immediately felt warmth going through her body. Ah, it is so warm. For a moment, Okita did not say or do anything as she continued to hold the plushie. Okita, Musashi said, trying to get her attention. However, to hers and Okita alter's surprise, there was no response. Okita, still no response. It was then Musashi had to resort to drastic measures. Okita, she yelled. At that moment, Okita snapped out of it from Musashi's yelling. What? Oh, sorry. I seem to have been caught up in how warm the plushie is and how cute it is as well, she said embarrassingly. Wow, even Okita is affected by this. Shirou thought. Musashi let out a smile. See? That plushie is really extraordinary. Indeed. Meijin-san nearly fell asleep from hugging it. Okita Alter replied in agreement. Okita let out a small sigh. Now then, what are we going to do with this? Well, Dash. Hey, get back here, a voice yelled, grabbing Okita Alter's and Musashi's attention away from the plushie and making them turn around. As they did, they were greeted with the sight of a chase, which consists of Oda Nobunaga being chased by Jean Dark Alter. For a moment, Jean Dark Alter stopped to catch her breath. Damn it, get back here, she muttered. Are you okay? Okita Alter asked, grabbing Jalter's attention. Oh, it's you guys. What do you want? What do you mean? You stopped here after yelling out loud while running towards Nobu. Anyways, what happened? Okita said. Jean Dark Alter grumbled. I was chasing that woman because she thinks my flames are weak. Really? Hey, she started it by annoying me to death, and then it escalated into a fight. Okita sighed. I'm going to have a word with her later. She thought to herself before turning to Jean Dark Alter. Leave her to me. I'm going to have a chat with her. Is that all right? Jean Dark Alter gave it some thought. Fine, as long as I get payback. Okita nearly shuddered for a moment, but moved on and left the room. At the same time, Okita Alter and Musashi decided to follow her as well. Jean Dark Alter let out a small sigh. Well then, now what am I going to do? As she was thinking to herself, it was then she noticed the Shirou Plushie the others left behind. HM? That's a plushie of Shirou. What is it doing here? She thought to herself before heading towards it. As she arrived, she grabbed it and examined it. Wow, this plushie is high quality. Whoever made this has every detail correct. I have to admit, even I am impressed. For a moment, she peered out of the room to see if she was alone. After a few seconds, she returned to where the plushie was. She then gulped and hugged it. As she hugged it, she let out a small moan and blushed at how warm and soft it was. Ah, it is so soft and warm. I honestly want to keep this for all eternity. She thought to herself as she hugged the plushie tighter than before while slightly moaning at the same time. She's moaning. Jalter is moaning. What is going on here? Does she really love the plushie that much? Or rather my plushie form? Shirou thought. Little did she know that as he was in her own world hugging the plushie, two other people were watching her. Jean Dark and Jean Dark Alter Santa Lily. Wow. Older me really loves that plushie, Jean Dark Alter Santa Lily said. Jean Dark let out a smile while slowly bringing out a camera. Yep, it's a good thing I came prepared for moments like this. Instantly, she took a photo. Man, that was exhausting, Lancer Arturius said. Indeed. Who would have ever thought that those skeletons would put up a good fight? Lancer Arturia Alter said in agreement. I mean, even though they were easy to kill, they just kept coming back from the dead. I know, right? And Dash, Lancer Arturia said, but was cut off as she noticed something that caught her attention. HM? What's up? It was then Lancer Arturia pointed at a certain object in the distance, which was the Shirou Plushie. Upon looking at what her counterpart was looking and pointing at, Lancer Arturia Alter's eyes widened. Eyes that. Are you seeing what I am seeing? Her counterpart gulped. Yes, that is. A plushie of Shirou. For a moment, both of them looked at each other, nodded to each other, and went towards the plushie. As they did, Lancer Arturia picked it up and inspected it. Oh my, this plushie of Shirou is so adorable, she squealed. Yes. Not only does it look exactly like him, it also proves that Shirou looks really cute as a chibi. Indeed, Lancer Arturia said as she began to cuddle with the plushie. And he is so soft too. It was then she smothered the plushie right between her breasts. I can't breathe, Shirou thought. Hey, let me have him for a moment. Lancer Arturia Alter argued as she tried to grab the plushie from her counterpart. No, I want to hug it more. You had your turn. It is now mine. It was then that Lancer Arturia Alter managed to take the plushie away from her counterpart. Ah. He is so cute looking at it up close. In this softness and warmth, it is perfect, she said as she did the same thing that her counterpart did. Hey, give it back. Never. Help, Shirou thought. Eventually, their arguing turned into a cat fight over the plushie as they started to punch and kick each other while the plushie was forgotten. However, during the midst of their fighting, a third picked the plushie up. Oh, a plushie of Shirou. How adorable, the voice cooed. The Lancers stopped their fighting to see who picked up the plushie. When they did, they were greeted with the sight of Ruler Arturia holding and cuddling the plushie. Ruler, they said in unison. For a moment, nobody said anything as they all had one goal in their minds. Possession of the Shirou plushie. So, I take it that both of you want this plushie, and sadly, so do I. Which means we will have to settle things. Winner of the fight gets the plushie, Ruler Arturia said. Both Lancers nodded in agreement. Yes. Obviously, we need some people to guard the prize in order for no sabotage, Lancer Arturia said. Leave that to me, Lancer Arturia Alter said. A few minutes later. Seriously, how did I end up with you? See, you asked in annoyance. Hey, don't blame me. I don't know how I ended up here either. I mean, a guard job for that toy? That is just ridiculous, Emiya replied in annoyance. For once, I have to agree. I mean, being guarded by my alternate future self and the lancer that nearly killed me 3 times. This is some twisted joke. Shirou thought. You can say that again. Although I will admit, the plushie of your younger self is cute. No homo. Really see you? Shirou thought. Emiya groaned. Not you too. Well, let's just hope nothing bad happens so that this job can be over quickly. However, as if fate wanted to screw over Emiya again, Archer Gilgamesh came into the room the two were in, with a ridiculous declaration in hand. Hey mongrels, give me that plushie so that I can use it as a bargaining chip for Saber's and her counterpart's love for me, he said arrogantly. Both Siyu and Emiya looked at each other. Well, you just had to jinx it, Siyu said. Emiya groaned. I hate my mouth sometimes. Arturia Lily was happily skipping in one of Chaldea's hallways, minding her own business. As she was doing so, it was then she noticed something. Said something happens to be a room that was completely damaged. Aside from the plushie of Shirou, which happens to remain intact, although a little dirty. Upon seeing the Shirou plushie, Arturia Lily's eyes sparkled and immediately went towards the plushie. As she got a good look at it, she picked it up and started twirling while holding it at the same time. Okay, I am not sure if plushies are supposed to feel anything, but what is this feeling? It feels like sunshine and rainbows. Shirou thought. Wow, a plushie of Shirou. It is so cute and adorable, she thought in bliss. At the same time, she noticed the various spots of dirt and dust it had received. Although it seems to be quite dirty, maybe I should clean it up first. She then left the room and headed towards the washing room. However, it was then that Castor Arturia appeared in front of her. Hey there, me. Castor Arturia said. Hey there, me. Arturia Lily replied. Upon seeing each other, it was then Castor Arturia noticed the Shirou plushie Arturia Lily was holding in her hands. Is that a Shirou plushie? She exclaimed. Yes. It is a bit dirty though, so I am trying to get it cleaned. Arturia Lily replied. I see. Do you mind if I take a look at it for a moment? Sure. Arturia Lily then handed Castor Arturia the Shirou plushie, which she accepted. As she did, she examined it and was in awe like the others before her. This plushie is adorable. It is like looking at a tiny Shirou. However, it is really dirty. For a moment, an idea just popped into Castor Arturia's head. Hey, you said this plushie needs cleaning, right? Yes. Castor Arturia smirked. Leave that to me, she said as she raised her staff. As she did, she then enchanted a spell that cleaned the plushie, much to Arturia Lily's surprise. Not only that, but she also fixed the room as well. Wow, I did not expect to get cleaned like this. Thank you, Castor Arturia. Wow, that was quick. And you fixed the room too. I know. Anyways, want to cuddle it a bit more. At that moment, Arturia Lily got excited. Do I? And the two girls began to play with the plushie, not knowing that the unconscious bodies of Siyu, Iamawai, and Gilgamesh were still there. Nero was humming a tune as she was walking down one of Chaldea's hallways. As she was humming, she happened to overhear talks from other people and servants. Hey, did you hear? One of the recreation rooms was nearly destroyed. Eh? What happened this time? Apparently, the King of Heroes tried to take a plushie of Emiya Shirou and nearly destroyed the room in order to get it. Really? Yes. Not only that, but the plushie was guarded as well. Geez, to think a single plushie could cause so much destruction. Upon hearing the words, Nero got interested. A plushie of my breeder that even the King of Heroes tried to steal. I wonder why though? Well, time to find out. Soon, Nero began to search the room that was completely damaged. However, as time passed, she was not able to find the almost destroyed room. Unbeknownst to her that Caster Arturia has already fixed the room. Sitting on a nearby bench, Nero let out a sigh. Wow, finding the room is going to be harder than I thought. Nevertheless, I will find a breeder plushie that caused the King of Heroes to go on a rampage. And as if luck would happen, she turned around to see the Shirou plushie, which happens to be sitting on a table. Upon seeing the plushie for the first time, Nero quickly went towards the plushie and started examining it. As she did, she was in awe. Oh my God, this plushie is really adorable. As expected of my breeder, his cuteness does not have any boundaries. I wonder how it feels. And when Nero hugged it, her verdict was immediately answered. This plushie is so soft. It's like I am in heaven right now. As expected, this plushie of my breeder is amazing. She thought to herself as she began dancing around with the plushie. W.O. She's spinning around too much. I think I'm going to be sick, Shirou thought. As she was hugging it, she did not notice that her counterparts were calling out for her. Hey, me, what are you doing? Caster Nero said. Upon hearing her own voice, Nero turned around to see her counterparts with a smile on her face. Amu, take a look at this, she exclaimed happily as she showed the Shirou plushie to them. Both Caster Nero's and Bride Nero's eyes widened. That is, a plushie of breeder. Bride Nero exclaimed in happiness. Exactly, Amu. Whoever created this plushie of our breeder clearly showed the beauty of him. I take it all of you want to hug him. Yes, they exclaimed in unison and happiness. Nero proceeded to give the plushie to them. As they did, they had various reactions of happiness when they were hugging it. However, Their period of joy was about to come to an end as suddenly the plushie was taken from their hands in a black blur. Eh? What the dash? Shirou thought. As the black blur landed, it revealed itself to be Rider Arturia Alter, who was holding the plushie with a smile on her face. Well then, looks like the rumors were true. Nero slightly groaned for a moment. Rider Alter, really? You were stealing that plushie? Hey, you may call it stealing. I call it receiving what is mine, Rider Arturia Alter argued. Anyways, see you. In an instant, she disappeared, making the Nero shocked. What the she took off with the plushie? Find her, Nero yelled. Yes, her counterparts agreed. Meanwhile, in another room, Rider Arturia Alter was cuddling with the Shirou plushie with a smile on her face. Wow, this plushie of Shirou is soft and warm. Wow, so the rumors were real, a voice interrupted. Stopping her cuddling, Rider Arturia Alter turned around to see Archer Arturia and Santa Arturia Alter in front of her. Oh, it's you two, she said with a sigh. Let me guess, you two want to see the Shirou plushie? Both of them nodded in reply, making Rider Arturia Alter sigh again. Here, but only for a few seconds at most, she said as she presented the plushie to them. It was then Archer Arturia took the plushie and hugged it. Oh my god, this plushie is so adorable. It's like a tiny Shirou, and I love it. She thought to herself as she was feeling it. As she did, it was then she noticed something. However, it feels so soft. I wonder what material was used. Hey, stop it. That tickles. Shirou thought. Hey, it is my turn now, Santa Arturia Alter interrupted. Immediately, Santa Arturia Alter grabbed the plushie and hugged it. Ah, Christmas truly has come early this year. This plushie is so warm, so soft, and so cute. This is worthy of being Santa's present. However, the moment between the Arturias had to come to an end, in the form of Nero and her counterparts appearing in front of them. There it is. Get it? They yelled. And a huge fight between the two groups began. Mysterious Heroine X let out a groan. Seriously, there are so many sabers here, and they are all going for Shirou. I swear, I need to find some sort of weakness or an advantage over them, she thought to herself as she was walking. However, she stopped in her tracks when she stumbled upon something she thought she would never see, which is a fight between Arturias and Neros, and beside them was a Shirou plushie. X's eyes sparkled upon seeing the Shirou plushie. Oh my god, it's a plushie of Shirou. How did that get here? How did I not notice this? Speaking of which, are those sabers fighting over the plushie? This may be a good chance to eliminate those sabers, but I cannot risk harming the plushie in the process. What should I do? Okay, I am starting to see a pattern here. The moment someone sees me as a plushie, I get picked up and hugged immediately. Shirou thought. After a few seconds of thinking, the heroine came up with her answer. I'll take it. Using her assassin skills and speed, she quickly took the plushie without anyone noticing and immediately headed towards her room to hide. As the door closed behind her, she immediately went for her bed and started cuddling with the plushie. Ado, this plushie of Shirou is so soft and warm. I have a tiny Shirou in my hands. And the best part is that I managed to get ahead of everyone. Maybe I could show this to Ekin, her idol self, and my future self later. And as if her thoughts were heard, there were knocks on her door, making her jump out of her bed with the plushie in her hands. Hey, X-san, I brought sweets over. Mysterious Heroine X-Alter said. And I brought drinks as well. Mysterious Heroine XX said. And I brought music as well. Mysterious Idol X-Alter said. Mysterious Heroine X let out a sigh. Wow, as soon as I thought of that, this happened. Well, I guess I should open the door then, she thought to herself before heading towards the door to open it. Hey, everyone, come on in. Soon, everyone came into the room and placed both the drinks and snacks on the kotatsu that was in the room. As they did, X decided to speak out. So, everyone, you won't believe what I found. HM, what did you find? X-Alter said as she was eating. Give me a moment, she said as she went to a corner of her room before quickly returning to them. Tada, she said as she showed them the Shirou plushie. At that moment, the other heroines and idol were shocked at the plushie in front of them. Emiya Shirou Plushie, they yelled in unison. Yes, and if any of you are wondering where it got it, let's just say, I happened to pick it up while finding a fight between sabers, X replied. XX let out a small sigh. Well, at least you did not steal it. Although don't do that next time. Yeah. Can I look at it? X-Alter asked. Sure. X replied as she handed X-Alter the plushie. As X-Alter received the plushie, she hugged it and felt a sense of warmth. Ah, this warmth. It feels so good. Not only that, but the plushie is so cute. I just want to keep this forever. She thought to herself before nearly falling asleep. Hey, I want to hug it next. XX said. Me too, Idol X-Alter said. Oh, well, here you go then, X-Alter said as she reluctantly handed XX the plushie, which she received happily. As XX got the Shirou plushie, she immediately hugged it, making her feel joy. Wow, this plushie is so warm. Not only that, but it is also cute too. Whoever made this plushie must be a genius. In fact, I would not mind using all of my salary to buy these plushies. 1. I'm not a plushie. 2. The reason why I am like this is because I got hit with a laser that turns people into plushies. And 3. The one who came up with that idea is crazy, Shirou thought. Let me have a turn now. I want to see how cute and soft the plushie is. X-Idol Alter requested, which XX then gave her the plushie. As she received the plushie, X-Idol Alter hugged it with all of her might. Amazing! This plushie is perfect in every way, ranging from getting the details right on the face, hair color, eye color, and the softness. I definitely want this. After a while, the women were done playing with the plushie along with the drinks and snacks and proceeded to go out of X's room, only to receive a huge surprise in their faces. Said surprise happens to everyone who came across the Shirou plushie before them. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Is everyone in love with my plushie form? Shirou thought. There it is. Get it? They yelled in unison. And in an instant, a massive fight began over the plushie. Senpai, any idea where Shirou-san is? Mashu asked as she was carrying a device that looked like a ray gun. Well, if you hear the sounds of a huge fight, that means we are getting close. And judging by what we are hearing, I think we're almost there by now. Ritsuka replied. Right now, Ritsuka and Mashu were trying to find Shirou. What happened was that after receiving the cure from Da Vinci, Ritsuka and Mashu went back to the same room that they left Shirou in. However, when they arrived, the plushie was missing. Therefore, they went on a wild goose chase in search of Shirou, and after many hours of searching, they have found a clue on where he is, which are the sounds of a huge fight. Getting closer to the source of the sounds they were following earlier, they came upon it, and were shocked at the sight in front of them. In front of them are Arturia and her counterparts, Ishtar and her counterparts, Parvati, Kama, Bibi and her sisters, Ilya and her counterparts, Miyu, Astria, Nero and her counterparts, Jean Dark Altar, Okita and her counterpart, and Musashi having a fight against each other. And in front of them was the plushie that is Shirou. That plushie is mine. No, that plushie is mine. You are unworthy of it. So are you. Both Ritsuka and Mashu let their mouths drop at the sight in front of them. Wow, Senpai, they are really fighting over Shirou-san. Do you think they know that plushie is Shirou-san? I don't think so, Ritsuka replied as he was rubbing his ears. So, we should stop them, right? Yes. Anyways, can you hand me the gadget? Yes, Senpai, Mashu said as she handed Ritsuka the gadget. Ritsuka then pointed the gadget at the plushie and shot it. What happened next was that a blue light came out of the gadget and hit the plushie, creating another giant blue light that caught the attention of everyone that was in the fight. Smoke appeared before it quickly dispersed. As it did, it revealed Shirou, who looked exhausted. Well, that's over, Shirou thought before falling to the ground. However, as he did, he noticed that the girls were looking with a blush on their faces while pointing at him at the same time. I have a bad feeling about this, Shirou thought as he slightly gulped. Then they screamed. Or to be more precise, most of them did in embarrassment. Jalter died on the inside. Okita Alter just looked normal, and Nero and her counterparts did not care. Omax, Emiya let out a small sigh at what he was seeing in front of him, which is a stand that was being run by Irisfield and Da Vinci, and they were selling Shirou Plushies. And he is shocked, they were selling well. Of course, they're the ones selling the plushies, not to mention the fact that it is a hot product. Forget it. Time to move on. Jean giggled at the photo she took of Jalter hugging Shirou. Well then, looks like my little sister does have something she cherishes. Hey, what are you looking at? Jalter interrupted, making Jean drop the photo for a moment. It was then she saw the photo and immediately blushed. WW what? Why you saw that, she exclaimed in embarrassment. Yes. Jalter exploded at that moment before unsheathing her sword. That's it. You were dead. And a chase between sisters began.